Hey, welcome to the Chiche podcast. This is the first one of its kind.
Episode number 1.
And who better to have on than my good friend, Holden Hardiman. How long have we been friends, Holden?
Since 4th grade, Gus.
It's been a long... How many years would that be?
I think that's like 13 or 14
How
years.
old were we when we were in 4th grade? 8? No, that's not right. So yes, this is called the Chiche podcast. Why is it called the Chiche podcast? What does that even mean? Chiche is a word that we kind of use. Yeah, it's how would you describe it?
Well, I wasn't there at the inception of the word. Right. I kind of adopted it.
Sure.
But from what I understand, and at least the way that I use it, it can be used for anything. Kind of like, it's like a less intense, almost like a swear word. Like, but it's not a swear word.
It's a catch-all. It's whatever you want it to mean.
It's like that person's a chiche. You know that's bad.
You could use it in the negative.
Or it could be like, man, this hamburger is the chiche.
Yes. Or
that's how you know it's good.
I'm feeling very chiche today.
Yeah.
It's whatever you're wanting it to mean in the moment that you're using it.
Yeah. And there's variations to the word.
Yes. There's different. You could say. There's chiche. There's chotch. There's.
Chotch is more derogatory.
Chotch is usually negative.
Like, what a chotch.
Yeah, he's bringing a chotch. Or it's really fun to say. It makes you feel good when you do say it. It can encapsulate your feelings.
Yeah.
And also, it's funny to use in conversation because when you do use it, it's kind of up to the other person to
how they want to interpret it,
to get what you're trying to say. And if they do, it's funny. If they don't, it's still funny.
Yeah, we'll be using it a lot. Well, you'll be using it a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll probably use it. Or, and it is like a good substitute swear word because sometimes you just feel like you just want to...
What a chich!
You just have an emotion. You got to get it out. So you just use it.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of what this podcast is going to be like. It's going to be whatever we want to talk about. It is that chiche. It's whatever we're maybe going through or whatever we've been thinking about or listening to. So let's start it off. Holden, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What are you into?
Well, assuming that you care.
Well, you're on the podcast, so.
Okay. Well, give me. Let me do this one at a time. So give me like one question and let me address it.
Okay. Well, how did we meet?
We met at our school, Alethea. So in 4th grade, from my perspective.
Sure.
How long were you at Alethea for?
No, that was his first year.
Like kindergarten?
No,
4th grade was your first year.
We both got there at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't. Well, see, I didn't know that.
Well, now,
wow, chiche.
How do we not know that?
Okay, so from my perspective, I went to an elementary school called N.B. Cook Elementary, and it was in the intro into 4th grade that I went to Alethea. And I actually went to N.B. Cook, I think, the first week of 4th grade, and then they took us out of that school. It took me out of that school to put me in Alethea. So I came in like a week late, and you and I met. I think I remember you played a lot of soccer, like at PE, not PE, but like recess and stuff. And so we just started playing together. We didn't actually get like really close. Like we were friends, but same like with like Matthew Bukoviak and
it was a group.
Josh Hill. Like we were all close friends.
Sure. I feel like we became pretty good friends there.
Yeah. I forget. I don't know at what point in time it was just like, yeah, we're really really close.
Yeah.
Because remember, you gave me a really hard time about being Catholic at the time because you were, and not just you, but they were all, very anti-Catholic. I don't consider myself Catholic now, but at the time I was in 4th grade. My dad was Catholic. We went to mass.
Sure. And that I realized how like annoying and like wrong that was of me, but I did give you a lot of shade for being Catholic. And I was why are you Catholic?
Everybody did. I remember I have this really specific memory. This is actually one of the few times I cried at school. I hid. Nobody saw me. But it's because we were at recess. I don't know if you've heard this story before. We were at recess, and I remember it was like Josh and like you were like on the swings, and I was trying to defend my Catholic faith from a 4th grade perspective.
Of course.
And you remember you guys were like, Mary's in hell right now. She's going to burn it. But you didn't believe that. You were just trying to get under my skin. But you're like, Mary's in hell. Mary's
I said that?
Yeah, you both did.
Wow,
and I remember it hurt my feelings so much. I went back into the classroom and like cried by myself.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
How's that for your history?
So from my perspective, we were like pretty good friends. We're like 5th grade. I think the Catholic stuff really came to a head where like we weren't so great friends. But I think 6th grade when you and I went to Peru.
Probably, yeah.
Like,
we'll put that in context. So our parents were both like very invested in the church. My mother is very what do you call it? She was not Catholic. She was very Protestant, I guess. So we went on a missions trip to Peru, and so we flew there. I'd never flown on a plane before.
Yeah.
And we spent the
How
whole
long were we there?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did crazy stuff. Like we try to minister the kids there. We did like puppet shows.
Yeah, we had like little puppets.
Holden was really into magic back then. He had a couple,
I was.
He had a couple magic tricks.
We went to a magic store in Peru, and I remember the guy, he had like the two little styrofoam ball trick. You can see it a lot now. I think it's gotten pretty common. But he'll be like, hey, there's nothing in your hand. I close, and then the two little bunnies pop out or something.
Sure. Just doing that, kind of entertaining the masses. And then we'd like hit him with the gospel there at the end.
We didn't.
No, the older people did.
And everything was in Spanish, so we would have to do this puppet show, and I couldn't. I didn't understand Spanish.
Sure.
So we had these puppets that were really up here, and I would have to remember. I would have to try and like listen to the right voice.
So which one's your voice?
So I think at some points with like the kids, both of our things would be moving for like one voice because I didn't know.
We would just be like. And our hands would get so tired.
Yeah, we underestimated just how tiring this got doing that for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, but they loved us though. They thought we were like the greatest thing ever.
I remember there were like 3 or 4 girls there that liked us and like hung out with us. We got a message.
Yeah,
like liked us and like hung out with us and stuff. And I remember one of them, they learned like a swear word or something in English.
The only words they knew in English were
swear word.
Just our words.
And at that point in time, we did not swear. We did not like being around people who swore.
Oh, it was really uncomfortable.
So we were like,
as kids, so
F word.
Yeah, they'll be like, what is fuck? And we'd be like, oh, don't say that. Like, why? What does it mean? It's like, it's just a bad word. So obviously that just meant they just said it over and over and over because it just sounded.
They liked watching our reaction.
It just kind of like when you say a swear word in a different language, it doesn't really mean anything to you, so you just say it
because you like watching them be like, oh.
Let's see the reaction. So yeah, I think that's when we became really close. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of history there. We can get there. We can talk about that later. But so anyways. So this podcast, we're just going to be talking about like what we've been listening to, what we've been watching. So are there any TV shows that you've been watching particularly?
Brie and I started watching a little bit of Black Mirror.
Yeah,
I don't know if
you told me about that all the time. I saw the first episode.
Really, the one with the pig?
Yeah, that one kind of
was a really
turned me off to it.
First impression. That one, but some of the other episodes are really, really good. Are really, really good. There was this one. I think it's in the most recent season. Is like this Star Trek themed episode. Where it's like this guy he creates. He's like I guess a computer engineer or something. Yeah. And he creates like this Star Trek-esque game where he's the captain, he's the hero, but he takes like the DNA of like his coworkers who treat him like crap and put them in the game, and like creates them. And so to the perspective of the computer simulation or whatever. They are that person. They have every memory, up to the point in time. And he'll like take like their soda cans or take something that has DNA, and so they have every memory. They're the same person up to that point where they drink the soda can or whatever. And
how does the DNA contain all their memories?
I didn't write it.
Okay,
but anyway, you could maybe argue it. It's not the point.
Sure, you just you just believe it. Okay.
So he puts him in there, and so. This girl, I guess, that he likes, he puts in the game, and all the other people are there, and they just kind of go along with it because they can't kill him because he's the creator of the world. He's like the god there. If you try and do anything, he'll kill you or do whatever.
Sure.
So they just play along, and so the girl came in and she's like, "This is crazy. We gotta get out of here," And I won't tell you how it ends, but it's really interesting.
That's one episode?
That's one episode.
From what I gather, the show isn't really a overarching story.
Yeah,
every episode is its own story.
It's kind of like an updated Twilight Zone kind of thing.
Okay.
That's the impression I got. It was a more serious.
But it's about it's the futuristic. Like, from what I gather, the show, it takes on topics of
maybe like technology
and how that we can use technology to do horrible things or whatever, or the possible effects of technology, but like only like 12 years in the future, like not that far in the future, like pretty recent future. Is that right?
Yeah, just from what I've seen. I guess with Black Mirror you can kind of do whatever you want, but but even like the pig episode, was that really like in the future, like technology based?
That one was weird,
I
man.
guess
I couldn't get past. It was uncomfortable. If you watch Black Mirror, you know what I'm talking about. If not, the first episode, like, it's kind of uncomfortable. The topic they tackle, it's like, ugh. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
it was
how
a
to
weird
describe it.
first episode.
Yeah, so that's why I haven't continued with it. But
Trying to think if there's anything else I've been watching recently. I know we're super excited about Infinity War coming out.
of course,
Everybody.
the second trailer just dropped yesterday from when we're recording.
Yeah.
And no lie, I watched it at work, and like I teared up like immediately. It wasn't like sad or anything, but like I was just so like in awe of what I was watching that it was like beautiful to me.
Yeah.
And like there was like tears in my eyes of excitement the entire time.
I mean, but
don't know
like think
why.
about like the perspective of it. I know you weren't big into Harry Potter back in the day, but like we
Not
grew
back
up
in
with
the
like the
day.
characters from Harry Potter. I did. You know,
Yeah.
how long has Marvel been going on? The first Iron Man came out in what 2007, 2008?
So it's been 10 years.
2008, I think. So we've been watching these characters and this story evolve for 10 years. And even Infinity War is not the end of it.
No,
You know,
yeah.
so to see like the culmination of everything coming together, finally getting Spider-Man in there, you know, he was in, I know, Civil War, but like Doctor Strange, like all these characters.
Captain America.
Yeah, that's what's going to
That
hit
really
me hard.
hits me when every time he gets on there. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
There's a lot of speculation of who's going to die. I thought Captain was going to die in Civil War because his contract
think
was up or
Cap
is up soon.
and Tony will die.
I think they're going to kill off one, if not both of them. But I'm pretty sure Cap's going to go.
Yeah.
Well, Infinity War is a two-parter, right? So even if he doesn't die in this one, I think he's going to die. He's going to die, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know about. I think he might die in this one though.
Yeah.
I think they're getting rid of a lot of the core original group and bringing this other people up more.
I think that they've really segued that transition really, really well because we've had Black Panther, we've had enough time with the new Spider-Man, Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I think Tony will die and Doctor Strange will be kind of like a new leader. That's my theory.
You think Doctor Strange will be? I think that
Yeah.
they're grooming Spider-Man to eventually be. I
Eventually.
think he was eventually.
Maybe in like 10 years because he's pretty young.
Yeah.
And I think they're playing well off the fact that he is young and he's going to be able to grow up and eventually. But I think the immediate future, Doctor Strange will.
Really? Who was it in the comics?
Because he was Doctor Strange.
Was it really?
Yeah,
Oh.
because he has that kind of type A personality. Like he's intelligent. He's got like the cosmic stuff under his control.
Yeah.
He's really powerful. And the way that they've been playing up, even in the trailer, you see Tony and Doctor Strange. And the way they end the second trailer, it's Spider-Man meeting Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I hear that there's a lot of fun banter between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, just that trailer.
his
Doctor
name?
Strange. Oh, we're doing our made-up names. I'm Spider-Man. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm actually Doctor Strange. Yeah. Yeah. Whew. So much hype in that movie.
Yeah.
I almost didn't watch this newest trailer because like I was like, I want to be kind of surprised. Like,
Dude,
I just want to take it in.
People always say like, oh, the trailer gave away the whole movie.
No, Marvel's pretty good
No.
about not spoiling.
They
things in the
didn't.
trailer. But I don't know. I love that I saw it, but I kind of like, man, I kind of wish I saw that for the first time
Just wait.
because I know I'm gonna watch it.
This is Marvel's longest running movie to date, right? Infinity War,
Like as far as how long
like time length. That's
Yeah.
what I heard.
it is.
I heard
it's
it
like
is.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think it's close to 3. I'm okay with that. I've always been. Fine
I think
with
it
that.
needs to be.
Yeah,
It's like the amount of characters in there and stuff like that.
I have no problem with that. That's what I think. That's one of DC's problems. You know, they gave that mandate for Justice League to be under 2 hours, 2 hours or under.
Oh, don't get me started on that. But have you gotten Moviepass yet?
No, I haven't gotten
Yeah.
Moviepass yet.
You still haven't gotten it. I don't know why. I've had Moviepass for about like 2 months now.
How often do you go to
And
movies?
I go like twice a week now.
Honestly, like I haven't been going as much as I used to. Obviously, I've been
Right.
doing.
You've been really busy.
I have been really busy recently, but and when I do go to the movies, I usually like to go. It's usually stuff like I saw Black Panther in IMAX.
Mhm.
You know, and Moviepass doesn't cover that, or I want to see a movie in 3D or something. I know everybody's got a different preference,
Yeah.
but I like to see IMAX 3D. You know,
No, me too. But I mean, we just like movies in general.
yeah. Well, so do I.
That's what I'm saying. Like you and I, like we love watching movies. We love to like dissect movies and just
Yeah.
take movies to as what it is. And like if we like it, we do. We don't. But the beauty of MoviePass is you can watch anything. and
Yeah.
you don't feel like you're wasting your money because you're actually like you pay $10 a month and you could literally watch a movie every day. Like it's unlimited as far as like they give you a movie pass a day to go to the movies. So in theory, you could watch 30 movies in a month
For $10.
for $10. And nowadays, one ticket costs what?
Close to 10 by itself.
$12 with tax.
I think. I mean, a matinee movie
I mean, a matinee
is
movie.
like 7 or 8.
But like a nighttime movie, how much?
Probably
is that?
$10.
So like for what you pay for one movie, you could watch 30.
Yeah, I know. I need to.
With the whole IMAX thing, okay. I'm not saying this is completely moral or correct, but if you go on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and you say you're gonna watch whatever, if you want to watch, let's say, Black Panther, okay, and while Black Panther was in IMAX, you could have gotten a different showing or just a regular showing, and then just go to the IMAX showing.
We don't condone that.
I'm not saying that's legal
And here,
or great, but like our movie theater is so lax, they don't care. They just want you in the theater. They want you to buy concessions.
Yeah.
The only thing with the IMAX thing is that there are assigned seating now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And there's the risk that you could be sitting in someone's seat.
But I think if you go like on a Tuesday or Wednesday,
that's my point. There's not that many people there, anyways. And even if you are in someone's seat, you just move.
Have you ever straight up snuck into a movie before?
Not without paying for at least a movie.
See,
I've gone to like a movie and then gone to another one.
Movie hop, yeah.
So
should we be talking about that?
No, because I've actually heard recently that movie theaters like are almost encouraging it.
Why?
Because they want you in the theater. If you're there for if you're there for 2 hours, you buy like a popcorn and drink. If you're there for like 4 hours, you might buy 2 popcorns or like another concession stand. That's how they make their money. So, but they don't really care, honestly.
Maybe during like the weekdays. I feel like.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't do it in an opening night.
I just don't want to get in trouble at our theater. I like our theater.
You think we're gonna get in trouble in our theater?
Maybe not.
Like
maybe, I don't know.
No, we won't. Anyways, that's besides the point. But like just in and of itself, go into like any movie you want.
Yeah, you're right.
Like $10.
I think after mid-April when I've got a little more free time after work and stuff, because I've been working full time, spending 3 hours a day after work at the PLT, and trying to upkeep a schedule of making one video, 1 to 2 videos a week.
Yeah, you've been rehearsing for the play you're in, and you're working full time and making your video. So I get it.
And I've still been trying to see movies on the weekends and stuff.
But like the fact that we do have it, because like so for me and my wife, we each have one, so it's $20 for us both. But either way, since we have it, it's like our thing to do. It's like a hobby now. It's like, what do you want to go do? Let's go catch a movie, because like we want to increase the value of our product.
Yeah.
So we do it by like squeezing it for all it's worth, essentially. So we'll go on like usually Tuesday, and then maybe on the weekend. Like last night, I just watched Tomb Raider.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was the first 30 minutes of it was awesome, and then like it falls apart once they get into the island that they're supposed to get in.
Yet. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Are you gonna see it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay.
I don't know what's coming. Ever since 2018, I've been kind of out of the movie game, which is terrible, which is out of character for me.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right.
But like I've seen a lot of movies this year.
Bree and I'll go tomorrow. We'll just try to catch up on everything.
Well, Jumanji is barely still out. It's been out since December, but that movie's been making and it's still they have like one showing. That movie was so hilarious.
You know, I know what I want to talk about.
What?
You seen the trailer for that movie? I Can Only Imagine.
I can only imagine. Yes.
Did you see the trailer for it?
I have.
What do you think about
it? I think it's lame. I don't really want to watch it. Like okay. It's very like bait, like church baity.
I have a lot of strong feelings about like the God's Not Dead, the style type movies, where it feels more like it's not made for like non-believers. You know, it's made for people who are already ingrained
church baity.
And then you get movies like Hacksaw Ridge, you know, or Silence.
Man,
you know, and it's like, why don't y'all care about these movies? Like these are really intense
These are real Christians that went through some stuff. And
but we don't want that. We want all the atheists are bad. I think in God's Not Dead they have like the Muslim father like hit his daughter or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A very over top stereotype.
It's just it's propaganda. I mean, honestly, whether you agree with it or there's whatever, it is.
There's a difference between like a Christian movie and a movie that has Christian themes in it, maybe.
Well, Hacksaw Ridge was very. I mean, Mel Gibson directed. He's pretty open.
Not just they're just like godly things. Like there's movies that are made for a specific demographic. Like they're targeting good old church people, and like that's fine.
Yeah.
But like it gets into that thing where they do a lot of stereotypes, or they just like They don't really. They're not really genuine in their portrayal of things. They're just like over the top acting, and the quality's not that great. Why don't we just make a good story?
Yeah. Well, they have. Look at Silence. I think that Martin Scorsese, since he did that, I think they aside from Catholic circles, I don't think he's gonna.
I think these people, like the church, these types of people, they don't want to like support Hollywood, you know, or they want to support these other types of companies that are doing these types of movies. Which I'm not saying. Like I kind of enjoyed God's Not Dead, the first one. Like it was okay.
I just thought that the premise of it was so unbelievable.
It was cheesy.
Like, could you imagine like going into school and a professor actually saying, "All right, let's get this clear. You just write on a paper that God's not dead." You know, you cannot do that. God is dead. I'm sorry. You cannot do that. Like not really anyway. To be like
was over the top.
Like that would never fly. And even if you're liberal, you can't just do that. Mm-hmm. And the same thing for the second one. I watched the second one as well. And they were like, a student asked the teacher about a specific question about Jesus specifically, and she answered it in an appropriate way. Uh-huh. And they made it seem like, well, even her just talking about it, even her just mentioning the name of Jesus was enough to warrant, you know, her being fired and all this ACLU stuff. And they also had like her union rep like betray her. It's that kind of stuff that I'm talking about.
It's hyper.
Like it's just not truthful.
Reality.
Yeah. And they showed like a bunch of law cases at the end in the credits. I don't know if to show, look, they're coming after your religion.
I didn't see the second one.
Well, they did that. And if you look into them, they're all like minor stuff, like the teachers trying to get the students to pray and, you know, stuff like things like that you really shouldn't be doing. But as far as like a student asking a teacher a specific question about Jesus or something, especially like in a historical context, there's no problem with that at all. And if there ever was a problem with that, any liberal conservative, we would have your back. But the notion that you cannot mention Jesus, you know, is absurd.
I mean, there is freedom of religion in this country. So, like, professors have to allow some discussion. I mean, I've had some Chiche professors that...
Well, this is like public school teaching. Is there a difference, I guess, I guess the first guy I did was college, yeah.
It was college. But, I mean, I don't know. I never went to a public high school, so I can't speak to that.
I did.
The teachers aren't allowed to like promote any faith,
any particular
over another, but it doesn't mean they can't talk about it.
Right. Especially if a student, it's probably not wise for the teacher himself to bring it up unless it was relevant to whatever. Like if they were studying like Roman law or something, and then he mentioned something about how Jesus, he was crucified and the politics of that. Uh-huh. But he couldn't be like, Jesus is the Son of God. Uh-huh. Take that, you know. You couldn't do that as a teacher. But if a student had a question about...
But I'm sure the teacher could be like, I don't know how this would come up, but like, I personally believe this.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
You can believe what you want.
I don't. Even though I wouldn't have a problem with that, I would find it hard for
somebody else.
Well, let's flip it. Like if you had a teacher who said, I'm a devout Muslim,
sure.
You know, the Christian parents probably wouldn't be happy about that. Just like a Muslim. Well, I don't know. Maybe a Muslim parent wouldn't care. But like an atheist parent, they're like, "Why are you guys talking about him being a Christian in the first place? What does that have to do with biology?" Sure. You know.
But if a student were to come up and ask them about it, I think they can
in private or something. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I don't think
as long as you wouldn't have a problem with it being Muslim. But I think because you can always switch it up, I think that's why they're like, let's just not talk about it at all. Because even though I wouldn't have a problem with, you know, my student talking to like a Muslim teacher about his faith, I know that there are Christians who would not want their kids to talk to a Muslim professor about being Muslim.
Well, I have a lot of friends who are teachers and they are Christians, and and they do talk about it if approached.
Yeah.
They'll talk about their faith and they'll answer any questions.
But are they okay with that on the broad spectrum? If I had a kid,
I think no. I mean, like I think if they were to talk about it as and promote it as a class, I think someone will
and that's the problem. Yeah,
and I think that's what that movie was trying to convey. But they just did it an extreme way.
It was in an unrealistic way that people were like, yeah.
In college, I feel it's more open. It's more acceptable to talk about because there's more an exchange of ideas. There are religion courses you can take.
Yeah, I took a philosophy
comes
class.
up a lot. I mean, you have to talk about religion. You have to.
Yeah.
Different people have different beliefs.
I know a big one.
Different teachers have different beliefs.
Big one now is in science is the evolution versus creationism and stuff. That's still a big one.
Yeah. How do you teach that if you are a creationist yourself?
I mean,
I think it's easy.
We were taught creationism at Aletheia, remember? Well, Mr. Papple taught us creationism.
Because we went to a private Christian school.
Yeah.
But in a public school, like my friend who was a science teacher, shout out to Tiffany Butler, she teaches it as if, okay, here are the theories.
As if there's two separate
theories. Here are the theories that are out there.
Before I would be more okay with that. I don't know. Ever since I've gotten older and I've just kind of adapted more of like a theistic evolutionary approach to it, because I still am a Christian.
Sure.
But nobody likes that. But at the same time, we've talked about this. At the end of the day, I want the truth. And if the truth is God used evolution, I'm okay with that.
Yes.
You know, and I think the problem that Christians have with that is, well, what does that mean about Genesis? God, the Bible says that it happened in 6 days. Does that mean the Bible's lying? Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that they can't deal with that, or to deal with that. Hey, maybe
reconcile.
Maybe that was why is that so far fetched to say that up until who wrote it? Moses wrote Genesis.
Yes.
Up until the events of Moses' particular life, these were all stories handed down. I don't know why that's such a different. That doesn't mean the Bible's lying to you, or by any means at all. At least not to me.
Right.
And if I can go on a little bit more here.
Yes.
So the Bible was written by 40 different men over the course of thousands of years, right? Mm-hmm. And no women, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I think it's almost insulting to suggest that the entire Bible be taken as one historical, factual context. Look at the book of Psalms, for instance. Psalms is a book of poetry, right? The Song of Solomon is a love letter to his wife. They're written in different
styles and perspectives.
Paul's letters, several 1st, 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, these are all letters that Paul wrote.
Specific people.
Right.
Type of people.
The book of Genesis, I would say up until probably the point of Moses, you could argue. You could probably take that as probably not 100% historically accurate, but the truth is there nonetheless. Then maybe post Moses, after he wrote, after he got to his point in his personal life,
that is
you could maybe take that more as like historical.
They're talking about their laws and their customs.
Maybe at that point you could take it that way.
It's their contemporary things like that.
I don't know enough about like 1st and 2nd Samuel or 1st and 2nd Kings to be like this can be taken historical. I think that they can be.
They're written by Samuel.
Yeah.
Samuel wrote the Kings and stuff.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like I cannot just say that the entire Bible is a history book, because it's not. But that doesn't.
No, but there's
that
history
doesn't.
in it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it doesn't diminish the value or the truth that it doesn't diminish any of that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like this is still the Word of God.
Yes.
Even though it's not in your history book. There's history in it, but
yeah, and a lot of Christians will die on the hill of a 7-day creation.
Yeah.
When they don't have to. It honestly, it's not if it's not critical for salvation.
A salvation issue.
Like don't get too hung up on it. Like there's no way to know for certain like how it was. That doesn't mean that we should just like, stop trying to figure it out. I mean, it's interesting to try to think about how it must have happened, but like honestly, it's like trying to get in the mind of Mozart when he created his like pieces of art.
Yeah.
It's like you're never going to understand how Mozart, like God is like the infinite creator, like he's the most creative thing. So how to get to the specifics of how everything was created, like good luck with that. Like, was it 7 days? Personally, I don't understand how like literally God would create these different things, like whatever, planets,
like in the order,
in a 24-hour day. Why would God limit to himself to one rotation?
Well, there wouldn't be a day at the time.
Exactly.
Anyway.
There would like when God said, "Let there be light," right? God didn't make planets till like the third day.
Well, he didn't make the sun till like the fourth day. But he created plants on the third day.
And how do we measure a day? One
20,
rotation of the Earth.
Yeah, 24 hours.
In relation to the sunlight, like what the sun wasn't created till later on in the process. So there wasn't even a concept of a 24-hour day until later on. So it doesn't make sense that God would. It's like, okay, I'm going to create these things like in what. Like my point is, God is outside of time.
Yeah, well, especially at that point, because there was no time, I guess.
Yeah, God created time. So why would he limit himself to a time? It doesn't make sense.
Maybe for our own understanding. And then you can always throw in the verses of...
That's the way it was written. Maybe written like by Moses just so we can try to understand it better.
Yeah. But I think that the point is that God created it. But even things that don't make sense, like creating the sun after creating plants. Or I remember talking to Mr. Papel about this, about what does it mean to I create light before the sun. I think it kind of meant like creating the
concept.
I guess not the concept, but like waves, like photon waves, like how they interact in space and stuff like that. Sound waves, even you could argue.
There's no sound in space.
Particles. I don't know, but that's a problem. It is.
Yeah.
Then there's a starlight problem. This one really got me back in the day because we have stars that are billions of light years away, and a light year is how long you can travel in a year. Mm-hmm. So if it's billions or millions of light years away, and we're seeing it now, that means that light had to travel for millions of years.
Sure.
And that's irrefutable science. And I don't know how can you be like the Earth is 6,000 years old? We shouldn't be seeing any of these stars.
Yeah, they're light years away.
Millions of light years away. So how are we seeing them?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how could you just brush that under? But I think you tie your faith into these nonsense issues of things that we don't fully understand. It's nonsense in the sense that my faith is tied to this. They used to argue back in the day about how many angels could sit on the pin of a needle. Absurd things. They would argue about this.
It's nonsense that you're making it such a thing that your faith...
Like you cannot be a Christian unless you believe creation.
Yeah,
that is absurd.
That is, to believe creation in the way that it's been established by people like traditionally.
And I don't know for sure. Maybe there's an answer for the starlight problem.
I don't know.
That's not God. When Christ was on earth, he didn't tell me to worry about that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm very honest with people when they ask me what I believe about it. I'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong.
For sure. Like, I come to... The more I learn about something, the more I
realize you don't know.
I don't know. But I still try to know about it. But the best I can do is accept that and be like, it could be this, it could be that. I don't understand how it could be this.
Yeah. The way that I kind of come to this point now where, like you, I'm comfortable enough in my own knowledge and my own understanding of things to be like, I'm very aware of how much I don't know about stuff. Mm-hmm. And so
I'm not arrogant to think that I know. Exactly, for sure.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to that, it's like, from what I cannot deny this science, I don't, and then I'm a Christian, so how am I supposed to interpret this?
Mm-hmm. My faith is built off these couple things that I do know. I know that there's a God. There has to be.
I believe in God too.
There has to be some creator that made everything that we see happen and work in the way that it does. There has to be a creative mind behind that. Two, there's no way that God would just make people just to let them suffer and die and nothing else. Like, there has to be something else. There has to be something more. I believe that God cares about his creation. I believe that what the Bible says, that he has a plan to redeem what he made. Not just people, but even the earth. And probably the cosmos. Why not?
Yeah.
So I believe that God sent his son Jesus to do that. It makes sense that he would, like, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
To like, okay, I'm going to send my son, who's perfect because no one of you guys are, to come down and die and to take the blame for everything. Like, that's kind of crazy thought.
Yeah. Honestly, the story of Jesus, from the gospel perspective, pre-gospels, makes a lot of sense to me. Like, it really just clicks.
It's kind of crazy if you really think about it.
Just like
go to that extreme.
So obviously I'm a believer. I've always thought that as far as Christianity is concerned, the the big thing is obviously the John 3:16. You have to believe in God and Christ is the Son of God, died for you, rose again, all that stuff. But also the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. And Jesus was pretty clear about if you do those things, everything else will kind of just naturally fall into place. Just to love God and to love each other.
Yes.
And that's pretty much Christianity in a nutshell. Yeah. You and I have talked about salvation before and about how kind of, at least in Western culture, I don't know how it is overseas or anything, how they teach it as far as salvation, but we say like you have to accept the Lord into your heart and stuff.
I don't like that term.
Even though it's not biblical. It's not a biblical term, but I understand what they're saying. We've talked about when Christ was on the cross and he had the two criminals on his side. And one of them was like, if you're really the Son of God, get down and have no problem. And the other one, I always like to focus on the other one because he didn't ask for salvation or even forgiveness. He was just like, just remember me. I think he said, my punishment is just. So he recognized that. My punishment is just remember me. But that was enough for Jesus.
Yeah.
And he said, you're going to be with me, dude. Like, you're fine.
Which is what it was, his recognition of his status and what he's doing. And for his own status and Jesus' status. Like, you are a son of God, just remember me. Like,
I think that alone, that is why there's going to be more people in heaven than we think to some extent, because we so much focus on, I got to make sure I don't sin. I got to, I got to struggle so much. But even the parable of the guy who went into the temple and he's like, don't be like the guy who likes to stand on the preach corner. Be like this guy who said,
public,
who like prayed by himself. I think that Christianity is so much more internal and personal than it has become. We're now used to the preachers, being crazy and you have to be and act a certain way and believe a certain thing. That's a ministry. You have to believe that gay people are evil or sinning all the time in their life in order to be a Christian. You have to love Ronald Reagan to be a Christian. These things
that don't matter. God scoffs at. God doesn't care about that. God cares about the heart. The commonality we see between the guy on the cross, the guy next to Jesus, and the poor beggar guy that was praying, was their heart, their attitude, their state of mind.
I agree.
Was that of like, I am in some deep crap. Like, I'm in trouble. Like, I'm a sinner. Like, a humble attitude, and then a recognition of God's status and ability to do something about it.
Yeah.
It's like, man, just God.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people in their life, at least once, gets to such a low that they like cry out for God. And is that enough?
Yeah, I always say it was enough for that thief. He didn't even ask for Jesus to save him.
I think we, as Christians, put a lot of extra prerequisites.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
To get into the club.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to tithe.
Never swear, tithe 10%. Creationism.
Like, God's not like that.
Muslims are bad.
You can never earn your status.
Yeah.
That's the point. You just got to like accept it.
We're running out of time here, too.
Yes, we are.
Point out.
All right, so yeah, that was
We covered a lot of stuff that we did not mean to cover.
Yeah, but that's the point of the podcast. To just talk about whatever, wherever it goes, whatever's the Chiche. What else is going on? What else is going on out there?
That's about it for you. I mean, we only have so much time.
Well, let's wrap it up. We have a couple minutes. What do you tell them a little bit about, like, your YouTube channel, what you like are doing, what you're working on?
Well, I have a YouTube channel. It's just my name, Holden Hardman. You can look it up. Yeah. But all I try to do about 1 to 2 videos a week, and they're a lot of them are localized type of video about Pensacola in particular.
You're kind of Pensacola famous a little bit. People like recognize. We've done a lot of we work together a lot on videos, just doing either historical Pensacola videos or just funny random videos. But Holden's been working a lot of getting content out there weekly, just talking about whatever.
I've been trying to, but I think I've said before, like, I don't want to be like the Pensacola YouTuber for a couple reasons.
Yes.
One, because it limits my audience to only people who care about Pensacola and only people in Pensacola who are on YouTube. Yeah. So I do other content too. I do a lot of Dragon Ball Z content, but that's just because that's just something I like.
Yes.
And, I know that I don't share that on Facebook and stuff like that because I know nobody in my immediate circle of friends cares. But there are people like I did a Legacy of Goku 4 promo. It's got almost 10,000 views now. But I know nobody here cares. But there are people.
Still a reaction. Well, not really
We
reaction.
did.
Videos,
I mean,
a
just
couple of those.
I'm working on trying to get more of like a niche kind of content. I like having a lot of different styles of content, but I know that can also hurt me as well as help me. So Pensacola, I still do those Pensacola videos for the local people, but I'm also doing, in a way, more Dragon Ball Z videos for people who subscribe to me because they like the Dragon Ball Z video that I did. And also I would talk about like Mr. Rogers after he passed away. If anything that's kind of relevant that I care about, I'll kind of cover or make a funny video. I always try to keep them entertaining and funny.
And they are. So check them out. Holden Hardman on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's youtube.com/Holden Hardman.
Yeah.
If you want to go to it.
And we also just do like random short videos, short films. We try like we have an idea, we'll just try to do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, that's the first podcast, the Chiche podcast. Just trying to have some time, even if I don't always have a guest. It might just be me. I just want to like have time to talk to you guys. Maybe get like a little bit of a community. Just like comment.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about things. Tell me what I should talk about with people or what you're interested in hearing. Because literally anything is on the table. We can talk about anything. Comment below on what you thought about our discussion today. I'll try to comment back and we can have a discussion there. And I will also try to get other types of content. Like eventually, I'll probably just do podcasts for a while, but like maybe try to do some other videos. Yeah, just be creative. Yeah. So anyways, thanks for listening and like, subscribe, whatever. Do all that. I hate saying it, but
you get used to it.
Yeah, just do it and share it if you want. Anyways, thanks for listening and catch you later.